What's up, guys? Welcome back, baby. I love this video right here, right? It hits me right in the heart. I got 3 kids, 11-year-old, 4-year, almost 5-year-old, 1-month-old. Right? You're probably wondering, why are we doing a top 5 reptiles for kids and I'm holding Vader? Well, there's a couple reasons. One is because out of the 4 reptile groups, obviously the alligator, crocodilian, caiman family will not make this list. But let's get into it, guys. 5 reptiles for your kids. Now here's the catch. This is 5 reptiles for you as a parent, an adult, guardian, whatever it is, to buy for you so your kids can interact. Never, 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 never will I ever say you should be buying your kids not even a reptile, any living creature. Our reptiles are mine. I didn't feel that one coming. All these, right, which is why he does not make this list. All right, guys, here we go. Number 5, the beautiful bearded dragon. They're a little iffy on my list, and I'm gonna tell you why right now. Is that, you know, my 11-year-old, let's say she was 10 when we got her. Now she's, you know, full grown. The 10, 11-year-old loves her. This is her favorite reptile. Puts her on her chest, watches TV with her, does so many things. But my 4-year-old, not quite a fan. He just says she's spiky. Her nails, they do get a little sharp, you know, so you know, he puts her on his legs, and she kind of tears them up a little bit, that kind of thing. But she doesn't scurry. She doesn't use them kind of like the iguana, right? They're not like that at all. But as you could tell, one reason that they make this list of mine is that they're so docile. And the kids love them. The kids love how they look. The spikes, it's funny, they're a little intimidating to the kids. I've been doing these reptile shows, and they're like, oh my gosh, can I touch it? And then they touch them, and they're like, oh my Lord, they're soft. So the spikes, you know, do play a little bit in it. But overall, I mean, just the docile, the size isn't too big. And this is actually a really fun size. I think they're about the size of her head when they start. The feeding, right? So the feeding is really cool too, because they're obviously eating greens and bugs. I've learned bugs are way different to show a kid than rodents feeding snakes, right? It's much different. When I take her to the reptile shows, I mean, they eat it up, right? We put a bunch of the mealworms on the table, and she just eats them up. So as far as kid friendly, I mean, look, this right here is literally all she wants to do. But as you see, I mean, they are gorgeous, beautiful. They're one of my favorite lizards, obviously from the desert. So they like the sandy, you know, dry area that we can do for them. But your kids will love them. Obviously, they get a little older. So if I was to say a bearded dragon was great for kids, I'd probably say maybe push it around like your 7, 8-year-old. They're gonna love them. They'll love them, especially when they get this big. But again, you're gonna have to take care of them and do a lot of things. Something to make sure you do a little research on. But as far as the kid friendly, the reason for this video, you know, reptiles that your kids will love and enjoy and be able to, you know, get a good hands-on experience with, she's definitely gonna make the list. Bearded dragon coming in, baby, at number 5. Dude, look at my beautiful thing right here, coming in at number 4, the Leopard Gecko. All right, there's a couple reasons why I'm choosing him. One is because I got one. Look, when you got one, it's a lot easier to show them. Number 2, you find them just about anywhere you go as far as reptile exhibits, pet stores, or whatever. Now, there are a ton of geckos. Some probably not so friendly, but some would probably fit right in the category with this guy. But today, we're going to talk about the leopard gecko. First of all, their size. Their size is perfect. And man, they're gorgeous, right? Colton named this one CP for Coyote Peterson, which is the 4-year-old. Obviously, this is his buddy. And they're just really good as far as a pet to use for your kids. Their size is another big plus. They don't get too big. And then they like to climb. So they think it's really cool. You know, unlike the bearded dragon at number 5, he'll use it and whoop, scale right up your shirt, and you don't even feel it. Now, one of the negative sides of them is that they can be a little fast. You know, when he was a baby, it was super tough for the 4-year-old to keep up with him, because he was just whoop, whoop, whoop. And then you feel like you're gonna break him and everything else. But they are truly, in my opinion, one of the coolest little lizards you could ever get. They can be a little bitey when they're younger, But the good part about them is that it doesn't really hurt. Like honestly, you don't even feel it. Feeding again is another thing where you're feeding them insects. Now he doesn't get the greens like the bearded dragon did, but the insects. Now he's been a little testy as far as for the parent wise. Like we're still having to freaking tongue feed him. I think we spoiled him, to be honest with you. So he's like, hunt. I'm not hunting nothing. Like y'all better put that thing on a tongue and give it to me. But he does great enclosures. Doesn't need a lot of space. You don't have to build some extravagant enclosure or house for him. And I mean, look, you can just see he is just super chill, shedding a little bit. So he's actually gonna get a nice little soak as soon as I get done filming with him. But man, coming in number 4, the Leopard Gecko. As a parent, if you're looking for something, pretty readily available. A lot of people have them. You can find them anywhere. You can look them up, Google them. I think that they're a phenomenal pet for your kids of all ages. As far as the temperament wise, now obviously they get a little squirmy and they can be a little fast, but for the most part, phenomenal reptile for your kids, for the family. He's fun to look at. And actually, this is another cool thing, is that your kids can actually build like a Lego house. So my kids did that. He actually has a little Lego house that he loves to hide in. It's almost like a little hide box for him. But I mean, it just does. It gives you just something else to do with your kids to really help them love, respect, and appreciate these reptiles. And man, look at that dude. God, he's gorgeous. Look, see if I can get him up close. Make sure he don't jump. I'm not too high, but I don't want him to hit the ground. Then I'll be chasing him across the backyard. Coming right at you. Yes, dude. What a beautiful lizard this guy is. Yes, dude. 2 beautiful reptiles down. So here we go. Coming in hot at number 3. The only category of reptiles I don't own is a turtle. Honestly, it's just because that's just like the one species I just didn't know that much about and wasn't really that into. I came across the Russian tortoise. Man, how awesome is this dude? I mean, literally gets the size of like a basketball if I put it in a perspective. They're beautiful. They are tortoises, so necessarily need all the water and all the stuff like some of the aquatic turtles do. And the cool thing about them is their size. I mean, their size literally only gets to be about maybe 5 to 8, 8 to 10 inches. That's it. Shell and all, beautiful. That gives you a lot of wiggle room for especially an enclosure and things like that. Now the enclosure is really cool because it's another one of those things I was telling you about with the Leopard Gecko. You can build Legos and make them a little hide. Well, with this, it's really cool because you can take your kids and honestly build them like this little turtle oasis. There's a lot of little cool YouTube videos that are on that you can watch that show some really cool ideas of building these tortoises an enclosure, which to me is really awesome when you can like take the creative aspect of everything else that comes with these reptiles and put it with your family. Here's kind of a thing too as well you got to keep in mind. They're probably going to outlive you. I'm talking about, when I say you, I'm talking about people like me. They're going to live for almost 50, maybe 50 plus years. So if you get one of these guys, especially at a young age, you might need to put them in your will so that you can go ahead and make sure when your kid gets older, he's taking care of them, and then hopefully your grandbabies are the ones learning from him, because I think that would be a really cool thing. The negative side about these guys is they don't really like to be held. Honestly, most turtles seem to follow this pattern, right? They just don't want to be held, right? They're always pushing, or you get the big snap turtles that are coming out and they're trying to take your arm off, but that's a different story. These guys just don't like to be held. Now that doesn't mean that you couldn't get them out and kind of put them on your floor and watch them eat their vegetation, which is another plus as far as with the kid aspect. There's no live feeding of bugs or rodents or anything like that. And I mean, most kids just really love to see a turtle. They love to see the shell. They think it's the coolest thing. And these guys seem to be pretty docile when it comes to that. Now, that doesn't mean you need to put them on your chest like a couple of the things that I've shown, but maybe getting them out, setting them on the ground, watching your kids interact with them laying on the floor, outside, especially on these hot summer days. Man, I'm telling you, the Russian tortoise, if you're looking for a turtle to kind of fit you and your family, especially with kids, to me, of all ages, that is definitely a way to go. Hopefully I'll have one soon and I can honestly show you guys instead of just putting up random pictures. But hey, don't be judging me, man. At least you got to see what one looks like. All right, here we go. Moving on. Oh yeah, coming in at number 2, beautiful corn snake. Corn snakes to me are just up there as far as your kids. They are, first of all, they're beautiful. They are a snake, my favorite group of all the reptiles, right? And then you got this guy here. Now, he is a blizzard corn snake, not one I'm really going to find around this area, but he still can at least show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. First of all, their lifespan is 15 to 20 years, give or take. And just keep that in mind again. You know, if you're my age, you're looking to get old. Do you want to keep that snake and hope that your kid, as he gets older, is going to want to take him? Because they are. They're going to push a little longevity with that. Awesome part about it is their size. Now, this is about a full-grown corn snake. He's probably pushing 5 to 6 feet. And on average, most corn snakes are going to push about 2 to 6, okay? Which is, to me, pretty good size of a snake. Cool thing about these guys is they're not really like, they constrict. You know, like a lot of us like to put these snakes around our necks like this. I can put them around my 4-year-old's neck, and he doesn't like grip, you know, like, which y'all seen in some of my videos, right? But, you know, he still is pretty long, but he doesn't have that squeezing power. Now, just because they don't have the squeezing power doesn't mean that they're not great eaters, because honestly, he's a great eater, but he's a little goofy when he eats. What I mean by that is he misses. So the feeding part, though, again, you know, depending on who you are, how your kids are, now they do eat rodents. You know, they're gonna eat like a whole prey item. Very rarely is it ever gonna get outside of a feeder mouse, but you got to keep these things in mind when you're looking at it. He'll eat both. He'll eat live or he'll eat frozen thaw. Frozen thaw seems to be the way to go for most people that don't really like to watch. I mean, look, just so y'all know, like, he's completely here. I don't even feel him. Like, there's no pressure whatsoever. If you guys remember the ball python and some of the boas, I'm like, But while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and, as you can see, he's all over the place. To me, that's the negative side. My kids like to hold him. My 4-year-old struggles a little bit with him. Not the fact that he doesn't like to hold him, but he's just so hard to keep up with because corn snakes are always on the go. They just never stop. Where some of the boas and pythons will, you know, wrap around your hand, wrap around your arm, you know, especially when they're small size. And all he's doing is trying to find somewhere to, like, bury. I feel like he's trying to get in my shirt. What are you doing? Look at him. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I mean, if you ever had a snake that was definitely classified of like an ADHD, and I ain't trying to judge it. Look, I was ADHD all through school, if y'all haven't been able to tell. But look, this would be them. Look, I mean, all over the place. The dude never stops moving. To me, that's the only downfall. But corn snakes are phenomenal. And usually they're pretty docile. They could care less. And even if you took a little bite, my God, I don't even think I'd even know this dude even bit me. I'd probably like, what happened? Something tickling my foot, right? That's probably about where your kids would be. So corn snakes, you know, now there's a ton of different morphs and all these kind of crazy things out there. To me, they're all going to be the same as far as size, temperament, and everything else that goes with these guys. Again, parents, I think it'd be a great snake for you, you know, especially when you're kind of like, even when you're kind of flirting with like, God, do I really want a snake in the house? You know, but these guys are an awesome way to go. You can find them just about anywhere. My God, you can probably find them in your backyard. They're known all over the country. So, beautiful corn snakes coming in at number 2. I love these dudes. Now, he's obviously one I've never seen. You know, these blizzard corn snakes, I didn't know existed until actually a friend of mine gave them to me. So, he is beautiful. His name is Olaf. I mean, God, if it doesn't fit, I don't know what does. But man, they're beautiful. They're super energetic. You know, again, it kind of keeps you on your toes, which at the same time, some of your kids like it. You know, they're like, woo, woo, woo. And it'll teach your kids how to truly handle a snake. You know, instead of like grabbing them, not letting them go about their business, you know, you teach them to kind of keep your hands open, which is what my kids do, and let him go about his day, man. Hope you guys like this one right here at number 2. Here we go, baby. Last one on the list. And you know what? Of course I have it. Here we go. All right, guys, look, 4 down, 1 beautiful serpent to go, right? The ball python. Know what you're thinking? A lot of people say that they're not quite a great kid-friendly pet. In my opinion, they are. Again, I got 3. Even my 1-month-old, I would put this snake on, okay? This is my girl Scarlet. Actually, I have 3 ball pythons. The number one reason why I say these guys are great for kids is because literally you can hold them just like this. My 4-year-old will get them, put them in his hand, and they never even move. It's awesome. Plus, they take a little bit of, we'll just call it kid damage, right? My 4-year-old, obviously, he runs around, he's like bouncing around. I'm like, obviously, I try to work with him. Dude, you gotta be gentle. But he runs around, he slings them around, he does their thing. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't do that, but yeah, when you got a 4-year-old that loves snakes, sometimes you get that. Some of my other snakes, I quite wouldn't let him do that, but with these guys, I do. This one and the other one, honestly, are great at the reptile parties. I can pass them around to all the kids. They love it. They have a blast. The size, depending on who you are, is kind of an issue, okay? I'm gonna show you here in just a second how big they get, and they can live for a pretty good time. Bam! You know, you see what I'm saying? They get big. Now, this girl here is probably pushing about 10, 11 years. She is definitely about as big as you're gonna see. The issue, all right, as they get big is the girth, to be honest. Not necessarily the length, but she is super fat. I mean, I can barely, right there, like goes to show you, right? I can barely get my hand around the thick part of her body. So when you sit here, like I was showing you guys earlier, and you put her, she could be in a dinghy, you know, you put her around your neck, I don't really trust that around my 4-year-old. Now, my 11-year-old, I do believe, could probably, you know, get her to loosen up and relax. But again, super docile, you know, like even as big as she is, she's not squeezing like my boas do. But wants to hold on. But you can see they get pretty big. So again, it's one of those, this is a great snake for a parent to have with their kids alongside them and learning. This is just a great snake to learn from. It doesn't always, you know, turn out as good as some of mine are. All 3 of mine, honestly, are really good. But I mean, look how long she is. Let's see if I can get her. Whoop, there we go. She got her balance. I mean, it's like that's a workout. She's big, dude. She's big. And then the other problem with it is just, you know, keep in mind, again, they're gonna eat whole prey. So you're looking at mice, you know, honestly, she's probably eating rats. Just something to keep in mind, you know, again, are your kids okay with that? Are you okay with that? And are you okay with letting your kids see that? Doesn't mean are you okay with it. It's not a judgment thing by any means, you know. My kids now, they walk by and they're like, oh, they're eating pot. And they just, just walk right outside, could care less of what's going on. But, you know, sometimes like, oh my God, I can't believe you fed him little foo-foo. It happens. So, again, you got to base that on your kids. And you know, the other thing with them is that they are picky eaters. You know, most of my snakes will eat frozen thawed, which is obviously the preferred choice of people that own snakes. But all of mine will only eat live. So again, then you got to go get live and you go through that thing. But just sticking to the kids aspect of it, these guys are phenomenal. Obviously, I wanted to show them because I have them. So I have 15 reptiles. I've only shown you 4 that I have because in my opinion, those are the only 4 I have that are truly kid friendly, that I would truly let my kids kind of do whatever they wanted with. And it's been a great learning experience for them. The rest of them I have are definitely not kid friendly, which I will do another video of some of those. I'll even do another one of things that I don't have that you can come across at pet stores and things like that. I don't have them just because, honestly, because the wife yells at me all the time, you're not getting another reptile. Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes I win. Sometimes I get 1 or 2, sneak them in. You know, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Never forget that when you're buying reptiles. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think if you, you know, you go one way or the other, or maybe you have one and you've had maybe a different experience. You know, something that obviously I don't see and my kids don't see. But either way, have some fun, love on some reptiles, and enjoy your day.